And here we go. All right, guys. So thank you so much for showing up today to our class. It is on the how to qualify sellers 100%, right? Want to make sure that the appointments we are going on, they are serious appointments and we're not wasting our time, right? Because there's a lot of sellers who are like, hey, you know what? I think my home is worth, $1 million, but it's actually only worth 500K, right? I think we've all seen those people. So we definitely want to avoid those. And we want to set expectations up front because I know sellers, they like to be pushy and controlling. And, at the end of the day, they're hiring you as a real estate agent for a reason, right? You are the leader. You're the one that's going to get their home sold and help them facilitate their move into their next, into their next home. So we want to make sure that we're showing leadership. And leadership sometimes looks like, qualifying, right? Because if we're just giving them false hope, then that's not true leadership. So, all right, Marilu, let's get started. So this is just one version of a seller pre-qual that Marilu herself, this is the one that she uses. So we wanted to use this one. Obviously there's different versions out there, but this is the one we're going to work on today. Marilu, how many listings do you take in a year?
Something between 50 to 60 plus 70. That's
Easy,
something that I've been
yeah.
going and doing. And
Yeah,
actually my mentality, my goals that I have, my great intentions that I have for 2023 is to get 100 listings signed. Just
100 listings signed.
Just the listings, no buyers.
Yeah, easily and effortlessly. And for all of those listings, what is the thing that you must do before you go out to the appointment? What has to happen before you go?
Yes, it is a great question. Yeah, I had to pre-qualify 100% every listing that I'm going. If my seller is not willing to share the info, if the seller is not willing, oh, well, just come, let's see what I can do. Let me see if I'm planning to sell. Well, I'm planning to sell, but I'm not 100% ready. You know what? I'm going back to my phone. I'm going to stick to my schedule. I'm not going to an appointment. I changed my mentality. I changed for the last 2 years. Before I was going everywhere, but I had to be able to practice. So now if my seller is willing and able to sell, looking to hire me on my appointment, I'm going. Otherwise, I'm going to go back to my phone.
Exactly. Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. I'm sorry, let me move this real quick. I apologize. I just want to move this down here. And let me move this down here real quick. Okay, there we go. Now we can start. Okay, here it is. That's exactly right. So you want to pre-qual every single seller before you go out. So that way you know if they're going to be wasting your time or if they're going to be serious. And by the end of this class, they will know how long it will take at the listing and presentation. So that way you're not there for 3 or 4 hours. So let's get started with the purpose of the seller pre-qual. I think we just talked about it. We want to make sure that here, let me go to the next slide. Actually, you want to make sure that every seller is motivated, meaning that they're able, ready, and willing, right? Or ready, willing, and able. I think we've all heard these terms. Want to make sure that whichever sellers that we speak to, how do you turn those people down? Adrian, we will answer this question towards the end. So let's keep that in the chat box. Sorry. Okay, we want to make sure that everybody's able, ready, and willing. So that way we're spending our time on the right activities, right? Because if they're not ready to go today, then let's just go back to the phones, right? If the price that they have in their head is so much of a gap between where you believe it should be listed, it might not even be worth, meeting with them. Let's just keep getting on the phones and finding more clients to speak with. Would you agree with that, Marilu?
Yes, 100%.
Okay, perfect. So this is going to be the first question, right? Before I come out to, let's say whenever it is, let's say before I come out today or tomorrow at 3 o'clock, there are a few questions that I need to ask you, okay? And if you guys want to write this down, you can. We'll share the script with you towards the end. But this is the first question we ask, right? As soon as you lock the listing appointment up, right? Let's say you're calling FSBOs, expireds, circle prospecting, maybe you're talking to your SOI, whoever it is, it doesn't matter. what source this is coming from. We have to treat them all the same, right? I heard a good quote the other day. They said, how you do one thing is how you do everything. So act as if you're already doing 100 listings instead of doing one, right? Because if you had 100 listings, what would you be doing every single time, right? Would you be pre-qualifying for them, or would you just go out, right? There's no way to manage all 100 listings if you're just going out every single time they tell you. We want to make sure that we set standards and expectations. So first question is, before I come out tomorrow, or before I come out at blank, there are a few questions I need to ask you. ... right? Pause and then okay, right? So next slide. So before I get into this next question, I want to talk about this. So this is how we can find out if they are ready. This is the key question, right? Are they ready? This is what we're going to be asking them, okay? If what I say makes sense and you feel comfortable and confident that I can, right, pause, sell your home, right? We're putting that embedded command in. Want to make sure we're embedding commands in everything we do when we're talking to clients. Are you planning to list your home with me when I come out tomorrow at 3? Right, so we're already finding out, are they ready? Right, it's very important. Do we know if they're ready? So if they answer this question, yes, okay, great, we can go along. Or maybe it might be, well, no. Well, Marilu, what do I do if they say no? What happens? Do I
Yeah.
ask them more questions, or what do you think I should do?
Yes, I'm going back to the script and I ask more questions because my job is to get somebody who really wants to sell. And when you ask more questions, you are going to discover why is the motivation for the seller, why they are planning to sell. The more questions you ask, the more close to your appointment and your signature and your listing appointment, your listing agreement.
Exactly. So are you planning on interviewing more than one agent for the job of selling your home? Right, we want to know, are we going to have competition or not? Is there going to be competition, or am I going to be able to walk in there, get a sign, and we're in and out? Right. So that's the second question, or that's the third question, right? The next question after this, we go into motivation. Okay. So we want to find out what's their motivation. And this right here, we're going to want to really dive deep and really narrow down exactly what their motivation is, right? So, and this is going to tell you the next question. Okay. So tell me again, where are you moving to? Okay. So they're gonna tell you a lot of different things, right? Maybe they tell you, hey, I'm going to Kansas City, or hey, I'm just checking out the market, or I don't know, have another home. And from this question, you're going to be able to find out how motivated they truly are, right? So Marilu, if I were to ask you, hey, tell me again, where are you moving to, Marilu? What are you going to say?
Yeah, I'm moving to Las Vegas.
Okay, so you're moving to Las Vegas. And with you moving to Las Vegas, how soon do you have to be there?
Well, I would love to be there on the next 60 days.
The next 60 days. And tell me, what's waiting for you in Vegas?
I just want to be close to my family.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I can appreciate that. Sounds like family is pretty important to you. Is that right?
Yes, 100%.
Okay, so what did we just, if you guys can type in the comments or in the chat, why did I ask her the question I asked her?
To find out her motivation.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah, to find out her motivation, right? And I wanted to continue. You want to keep diving deeper and deeper and deeper, because this is a great part of the script where we can really dig into that motivation, build rapport, and find out why are they moving. And then later on in the script, when they're like, oh, they're all iffy, we can come back and like, hey, you told me you wanted to go to Vegas the next 60 days because you want to be close to family. Is that still correct? So I can come back, pull that motivation back, and then we can dive deep into that motivation. So that's why we want to sit inside of the motivation bucket for quite a while, if we can. Let's stay there for a couple questions. Let's go at least 3 questions deep. If you can go deeper, but I think that this is just the basis of a seller pre-qual. of course, you're gonna have more questions, but make sure you guys are diving deeper into motivation. Correct, Marlo?
Yes, correct.
Exactly. So the next question here, let's get, I might have missed it. Okay, so when I see, okay, here we go. Actually, yeah. The last one was willing. Actually, last one was motivation. Before that was willing. So this one is ready. So when I see you, how much do you want to list your home for? As a professional real estate agent, I study homes every day. ... And I assume you will list with me at a price that will allow it to sell. Is that correct? So what price will you not go below? So Marlo, if you want to explain on this one, I'll let you go for it.
Yeah, we have to find number one, motivation, willing and able to sell. And we need to ask, okay, what is the price that you're looking to sell? And we had to find the real price, and we have to ask the question, okay, what is the number you're not planning to go below? So we have a number that we are going to enlist the home. Let's say the seller wants to get a 520, and he said, well, I don't want to go under 495. So we have gap in order for us to be able to get the listing signed.
Gotcha. Now, I'm curious, what is the biggest gap or that you would allow for you to go on a listing presentation? Would it be 25K? Is it a percentage or is it a number?
Actually, before I wasn't a percentage with for my coach. Now I'm just maybe 5 to 10,000, no more, no less.
Gotcha. Okay. So you hear that, guys. So Marilu thinks her role is if it's more than $5,000 or $10,000, she's not taking that listing. She's gonna go ahead, get on the phones and keep going. Okay. And why do you think that? Or why do you think this way?
Because my job is to get the property, the listing signed. My job is to get the property on the market, and my job is to get the property sold. I'm not planning just, oh, I'm just taking another listing, but the listing is going to sit in on the market for 30, 60, 90 days now. I'm willing and able to work with a seller who is looking to sell at my price, on the market price.
That's right. Yeah. No, that's a good point. So good. If you're taking notes, definitely write that down. You know, you want a serious seller that's ready. Now, this next question is going to find out if they actually are able to sell. I mean, granted, yes, everyone is able to sell, but I like to use this question as my able question. Okay. So how much do you own the property? This is going to tell us, you know, how able are they? Because if they only have 5,000 in equity, man, this might be a sucky listing because they don't have any equity. They're going to be super short. It might even be a short sale. So we want to find out how much equity do they have that they can actually sell, right? And make a move. Because it might be, hey, you might need to sit on this property for another year or two and let your equity build up, you know? So that's the question I like to use for able. So next, have you ever thought about selling it yourself? Okay. So this will bring out our a certain disc profile, right? We'll find out. To me, it's a lot of the analyticals like to sell it themselves. You know, they believe that because they know the numbers and they believe what they see on Zillow, they're able to just do it themselves. So this is a good question to find out if we're going to be dealing with an objection here or not. And we can get it settled right away if we wanted to. What do you think about this question, Marlo?
Yeah, before a lot of homeowners that was selling, like a for sale by owner, they was selling and getting a lot of buyers because the market was over here. So now this is a great investment for every agent going back and be able to reach the for sale by owners because they really want to sell. Before they really want to sell, but they was not willing and able to pay a commission. So now, since the properties that they have under for sale by owner, the property they have maybe 30, 60, 90 days now, they are willing to sell and they are willing to pay commissions. So I invite everybody to reach out the for sale by owners because especially at this moment, they really want to sell. They are looking to get the equity before the market change. I'm always telling my sellers and my for sale by owners, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, this is the best market for us to get you property sold because we don't know what's going to happen in the next 30, 60 days with the market. Do you agree? Oh, yeah, I would love to sell. So when you ask more questions, when you bring value, you always going to have the listing sign.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct about that. And it is important to keep asking more questions, right? Like I said earlier, this is just your baseline of questions. There's always going to be secondary and, whatever, however you say, the third primary questions, right? 3 levels deep, 4 levels deep, and you just want to just keep diving deep into the questions, right? If you hear something, dive deeper. If you hear motivation, if you hear, hey, I was thinking about something myself. Okay, can I tell you why I think that might be dangerous? Or can I tell you why that concerns me? And then go into your spiel. So here we go. Will you help finance the home for the buyer? Or do you want all the cash out from this transaction, right? Let's make sure that we're emphasizing here. Okay. Do you want all the cash from this transaction? So we know, are they open to what's it called? First, owner finance, or are they trying to make the most amount of money possible? They're probably gonna be like, hey, I want to net the most amount of money possible. So that's why this question is very important.
Yeah, and let me go back on this this question, Richard. I think it's a
Go for
very
it.
important question to ask. Are you willing to finance the new buyer? Sometimes, oh no, I want my cash out right away. Okay, so when you ask the question, you notice, just look in their face, and they are really looking to sell and getting the cash out. I'm always asking the question maybe 1 or 2 times in order for me to have the reaffirmation for them. They really want to sell.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what's a great question here? I always love, so after you ask them, okay, do you need all the cash? Okay, so once you get all this cash out, what's going to be your next move? Or, what are you going to be doing with it? I know you're moving to Las Vegas. Is your goal to take all that cash and put it into Las Vegas, the Las Vegas home, or what are you planning to do? Some people are like, I want to, maybe they want to buy a rental property. You never know. But this way, you're going to find out more motivation from why they are selling, because a lot of people, the reason why they're selling is upsize, downsize, relocation, death in the family, divorce, and new baby, right? So either the family's getting bigger or smaller, the family separating, or they have a new job. So just keep that in mind, so you know the serious motivations.
Mhm.
Here we go. All right. So this question is super important. Will you please describe your home for me? And then they're gonna go on a nice 2-3 minute soliloquy and talk about, hey, I upgraded the bathroom vanity to the latest Home Depot model, or whatever it is. I painted the house 4 years ago. And they say crazy stuff. I don't know. I painted the exterior, but I didn't upgrade the kitchen. I didn't upgrade the master bathroom, or that's why it's important to know what they did do. And this is probably where they're going to tell you, hey, I have solar. So after that, on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate your home? Right. I like asking this as if they were a buyer. Hey, if a buyer was coming to your house, how would you rate this? How would you rate your home on a scale of 1 to 10? And then I feel like there's 2 spectrums. There's people who over love their home and believe it's worth more, and there's people who are like super critical and they'll rate it super low. So I feel like those are the two spectrums there. Here we go. And then the next question is, for us to get it to a 10, what will we need to do at this moment? Can you please tell me a little bit more? And then they're going to describe, so they're already baking in a response for you. So that way you can basically bring the price down and adjust it down, right? And we can position a lot more competitively, because probably 99 times out of 100, at least in my observation, is they're not going to go replace the kitchen. They're not going to install a pool. They're not going to do all of these crazy upgrades to get it to a 10, right? What do you think, Marlo?
And especially in this question, I'm always, for the last maybe 6 months, I'm always asking, okay, going back to the question, okay, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, just give me a number. I say, okay, 7. Okay, what do we need to do at this moment in order for us to get to number 10? Well, maybe cleaning, carpet. And, are you willing to give some credit to the new buyer in order for them to replace with their own, And then they always say, well, I'm planning to get to the last penny. I would love not to give any money to the new buyer. Well, let's do this. Just get an estimate, how much money you are going to use, working on this house, or we can offer this money to the buyer or pay some, to the buyer to buy down the rate. So we had to do negotiation on this question because either giving money to the buyer or giving money to buy down the rate or, fixing the home. When you bring more value, when you ask more questions in this question, for sure they are willing to put some money on the side for the new buyer. So, and especially at this moment, if you don't offer this money, you can lower the price and have a negotiation. Okay, let's start working with the property with this price. Let's offer this money to the buyer and let's see what's gonna be, how many offers we are going to have, and let's have an agreement. Let's do some negotiation.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right about that. Let's see. So let's go into the next one. I'll be sending over a package of information, right? Will you take a moment to review this, please? So before we take a listing, it's very important that we send over a pre-list package, right? Let's send our marketing over. Myself, I like to send over the listing agreement, to be honest. Like I'll send it over there, full commission already written out. And I've had them signed before. Like people do it pretty often, right? And then when they see that 6%, it's not a shock anymore once we have the conversation the next day. Right? They're like, oh, okay, cool. So you do all this marketing and then that's what your terms are. And there's not even a discussion. It's just like, okay, that's standard, right? I'll just send out all of that. Not everybody likes to send the listing agreement already in front, but I'll be honest, I learned this from my buddy Jose and I was like, I just started doing it at that point and it started working. So don't get in your own way. A lot of people do that. So Marilu, what do you like to, I'm curious, what do you like to have in your pre-list packages or what do you like to send over?
Let's say if I'm working today and have, if I set up an appointment for tomorrow, it's, if the property is maybe in another city, like maybe 45 minutes, 50, I just going back to my pre-qualification, make sure everything is ready. My seller is willing to sell. I'm not going to send the package, but if my listing is on the next 3 days, 2 days, I have maybe 1 or 2 days, I send my listing agreement, net sheet for my seller with 3 different numbers, okay? My Google reviews, my CMA complete with all my sales from 20, 21, 22. And I do have all my certifications on the second page. And I have my CMA ready in one book with all my information on the back.
Nice. Did you guys all get that or you need to say that again? It'll be on the recording. I'm sure there's a lot of people who want to know what your pre-list package looks like. So I'm sure that's very helpful for a lot of people. Actually type in the comments. I'm curious. Would you guys like for us to do a pre-list package that we send out prior to listing agreement or listing presentations? If you guys would like for us to do a class on that, just type in the chat yes.
Yes.
And we'll put that together. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, so that sounds like we'll do a class on that. I think that would be, pretty helpful for them. And let's see. Yeah, so I think that'll be a good class. I'm excited for next week's class, actually. So for those of you who like to personally develop, your minds and continue to grow, we're going to have a special guest on. So I guess we'll announce that towards the end. Actually, our next two will be, really good. Will be really good guests. So I'm excited for that. So anyways, we'll definitely do a class on that. I'll be sending over. Okay, so I'll be sending over a package. Marilu talked about what she sends over. Now, after you say this, after you ask this question, so do you have any questions before I arrive? Right. And they're gonna ask you, hey, what are you charging commission? What about this? What about that? So we just want to get any questions that they have out of the way. So that way we can be best prepared for our listing appointment. So this is an important question, right? No matter what person you're speaking to on the phone, make sure you're asking all these questions. So you're honoring yourself, your family, and your time, right? It's important that we're honoring, because if we're just going out on a limb, that you're just kind of what's it called? What is that word called? I can't think of it right now. Where
Yeah.
you're making it up. Oh, you're
Ad-lib
winging it.
on a
That's what it's
whim.
called. On a whim. There you go.
There.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're winging it. And we don't want to wing business. You can't scale winging it, right?
Yeah.
So that's why we have to, first we have to have systems, processes at our base, and then we can add creativity, and then we can add, smaller things up top. But we have to be system oriented and process oriented, or else we cannot scale. So
Richard,
for
let me go back to this question. On this question, it's a key question for when we are taking the listing, when we are working with the seller, trying to ask and, couple more questions. I'm always asking this question, Mr. and Mrs. Sellers, do you have any other questions before I arrive tomorrow at 4 p.m.? Oh, yeah. I'm always trying to get more and more because I want to make sure that I'm fully and ready prepared for their objections. Well, yeah. What is the commission? Okay. Great question. This is going to be the number question that we are going to discuss tomorrow. Sounds fair? Yes. Okay. Well, and I'm always going back to them. I say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, okay, Mrs. Linda, okay. What are you looking for me? What are you looking for the next agent you choose? Well, I would love to an agent who's going to host in an open house, making a nice and beautiful flyer, who really wants to get my property sold. So when you ask this question, they are going to start like giving all the info. So tomorrow, the appointment, you have to be ready with all these questions. And it's important, this question. Remember, don't forget to ask this question. The more question you ask, the more prepared you are, and you are going to get the listing signed with a 6%.
That's correct. Yeah, 100% you're gonna get it because that's what you're worth. Each and every one of you are worth 6% and not a penny less. All of you are worth it. So let's keep moving. Here we go. So our meeting should only take between 5 and 25 minutes. Is that okay? So I absolutely love this question. And it's because we're setting up the expectation that, it's going to be a quick in and out. We're going to be high impact, high volume, high value, all from the get-go. So that way we're not sitting there for 2 hours, because we have to remember, we have to respect our time. And our number one thing is we have to be doing lead gen follow-up, and we need to be setting appointments, right? And if we're sitting at the appointment for 3 hours, then we're just spending too much time. We need to be going back to the phones, looking for more people to help. Correct?
Mhm.
That's right. And the worst thing, spend 3 hours and get a no. Just do it once and you're like, yep, all my listing of presentations are going to be catered around 5 to 25 minute presentations are going to be in and out. Right? We're not playing games. So make sure that you have your different listing presentations set up for the different personalities. So that way you can be pretty quick and lead with questions. So I really love this question. Setting expectations is important. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow at 3 a.m. or not 3 a.m. Don't do that unless
3
you're
p.m.
sorry, we're in Vegas, so we set listing appointments at the clubs. Hey, I'll see you at Dre's at 3 a.m. No big deal. So yeah, no, I'm just kidding. 3 p.m. Sorry, I apologize. All right. But basically that is it. What questions do we have about the seller prequal, and how can we be of service for you guys? What questions are you having? Are you guys even doing this? I'm sure that most of you are, because you've been working with Marilu. Like, what questions do you have about the seller prequal?
I have a question.
Okay, go for it.
What about if when you do the qualification, or that the seller asking you after you do the all qualification, why did I have to list my property with you? What is the response that you can give it to them when you do that qualification and they respond me in the last conversation. In case, let's say.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
Because
how I would answer it.
It's a sellers that really like when you in the phone, when you go deep and you try to provide the much information, but not the much, but the most information so you can get the appointment is it come out with that question.
Yeah.
So how can you respond that?
Yeah, you know what? I'll answer first and I'll let Marilu. So you know what, Catalina, that's a great question. I'm so thankful that you asked that question. And you know what? That's gonna be the first thing that we discuss when we meet tomorrow at 3. That's gonna be the first thing we talk about. I'm not looking to handle the objection on the phone, right? I'm looking to, if everything else is good from our pre-qual, then I'm going over. But why should I hire you? That's easy. I'm gonna come over. I'm gonna show you my market. I'm gonna show you my experience. I'm gonna show you why we get the job done. I'm gonna show you that I work with a whole team. So it's not just you getting me, you're getting an entire team. So while I'm here in this appointment with you, my team is answering phone calls for my other listings. So we're 24/7. Either way, I'm not handling that on the phone. I'm gonna handle it at the appointment. How'd you handle it, Marla?
Yeah, it is good great answer. I'm always, if I have a seller who is asking me that question, it is a great question, Mrs. Seller, Mrs. Catalina. Actually, I'm a full-time broker associate, just to let you know that this is what I do for a living, and I don't see any problems getting your property sold. Actually, when you're working with me, when you choose me, when you invite me over to your house, I'm going to do my best to get your property sold for top dollar, and you're looking to get a top dollar for your home, right? Okay, so invite me over tomorrow for 4 p.m. Is that okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, and
Awesome.
always going back, say, I'm an expert in negotiation. I'm a proactive agent. They want to have more info from you. Who is the person who is going to their house?
Yeah, exactly. LSA, yes, we definitely always bring comps for listing appointments. Comps
Yes.
should be pretty quick. I use a similar, if you guys were here for George's listing presentation, I use a very similar one to him. So it literally takes me 5 minutes to get ready for a listing. I just did it the other day and then I took at 6%. And I showed, actually Ty, he's not on here right now, but he went with me and he saw it. He was like, wow, that was easy. They didn't give you, I literally, no objections. It was no objections, nothing. 6%, yeah, that's what I charge. I got my price, and then my commission.
And how long was your presentation? How long were you there for?
30 minutes, maybe, max. Yeah, I do it pretty quick because I have literally a slideshow. We go through the slides, we look at it together, we look at the questions together, and it's very easy. So, and then I've already pre-qualified at this point, so it's not like I'm facing objections. So yeah, and we get straight to the point. We're not getting marketing fluff and all that. It's literally just all the pre-qual stuff. How do you, okay, Adri talked about, is it Adri or Audrey?
Adri.
Okay, Adri. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm saying it right. I always see your name. So how do you turn down those people when they, when they don't give you the answers you want for a listing appointment? How would you do it, Marlo?
If they don't answer my questions, like maybe 85%, I'm not going to my appointment. Not anymore. Before, yes.
But how do you turn them down kindly?
Oh,
Okay,
I would refer them. So I would like, okay, great. So you want to be at 700 versus 650. Great. You know what? Actually, what I can do is my business partner specializes in this price range. I'm gonna have them meet with you tomorrow. And I'm gonna send somebody who is open to taking the listing. Maybe they have a long shot, maybe they'll get it. Right. But I'm gonna send somebody else out. And then at the bare minimum, I'm gonna get a referral fee.
Really?
Yeah, I'll send those 1%ers out. I do not care. Well, because you're gonna get a referral fee anyways. Why not?
Yeah.
Take
And-
25%.
I'm just thinking, how does that impression, what impression does that leave on the homeowner?
I mean, the homeowner, if you're calling expireds, I mean, how much research have they really done on you? You're just somebody who just reached out,
Mhm.
So If you
Uh-huh.
don't want to refer it and you want to keep it in your pipeline and you want to keep touching bases with them until, that motivation is there, right? Like, oh, in 2 years from now, I am going to be an empty nester. So I know that I'm going to come to the point where I'm going to have to sell because I have too much house for, myself or my husband or whatever. And so now, that the motivation isn't there to go, on Thursday per se, right? But then maybe in 6 months from now, we're in a seller's market and it's in their best interest to sell. So back to her question, like how do you let them know? Like, okay, you're not ready, Thursday, I'll follow up with you. Is it okay if I follow up with you in 3 months at the end of the year or whatever? Like, how do you keep them in your pipeline without them making them feel like, oh, well, I wasn't.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. Okay.
Thursday,
So
right?
I have a great question for this. So, hey, Miss Seller, is it okay if I'm honest with you?
Yeah, of course.
And then whatever you say afterwards, they're gonna take it, right? As a professional real estate, as a professional, I do this every day. I've been doing this for years. This is where I believe your home is at. I believe that, I know you want to get 700, however, the market is telling us A, B, and C. So it's based on my professional opinion. We need to do A, B, and C. We need to probably wait 6 months for you to get this number that you're looking for. However, if you wanted to move now, 650 is probably where we're going to be at. And then I'm okay going. I'll go straight to the comps, right on the phone, because I'm being direct and we're not wasting anybody's time. Listen, Zaira, I don't want to waste your time, and I want to be honest with you. Are you okay with honesty?
Yeah.
And then I would literally tell them, hey, I believe that your home is worth this. And it would be a disservice and it would be a disrespect to the profession if I took your listing at 700, knowing that the comps are showing 650.
That's good.
That's literally, it would be disrespectful. And I'm not in the business of planting flags. I'm in the business of selling homes. Which do you prefer?
Yeah, that's good.
So that's how I handle it. What do you think, Marlo? Same, different?
Yes. Hmm.
Okay, I think asking questions is the most important thing. Just continue asking questions and just being respectful. I think you can ask anything you want as long as you say, can I be honest with you? And most of the time you won't get in trouble. I know sometimes you get in trouble, but it's all how you phrase the questions, right? Now let's see, do we have any more questions here? All right, any more questions that you guys have?
Do you guys
Wow.
then
Go for it.
comparative market analysis on a prepackaged agreement and the prepackaged listing?
Eric, I do. Yes, myself. Yes. What is Eric? You laugh?
No, he's right there.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep, and then we're gonna do a class on it, actually. We'll have to fit it in because we have so many already built out. So we're gonna maybe we'll do a side class on it. Or maybe we'll just do a video. I don't know. Do you think we can just do a video, or do you think that there needs to be a Q&A on that? I don't know. Probably Q&A, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So then we'll plan it out and then we'll do one. It's just next week. So I'll tell you guys right now what we got going on next week. We have the mind trainer, Jessica Miller, right? That's name, Jessica Miller.
Yes. Yes. A good friend.
So
Mhm.
if you're looking to improve how you communicate so that with other people and yourself, right? It's very important that the way we communicate with ourselves, we're giving positive affirmations and we're being intentional about, we talked about this last week, right? Being intentional. So that way we are in the driver's seat of where we're going in the world, right? Because if we're not being intentional and direct on what we want, then whatever you believe in, it's not going to happen, whether it's the universe, God, whatever higher power you believe in. If you're not intentional and direct about what you really want, it's really hard for your mind and your body to take you that direction. So you need to know, hey, I want 60 listings at $500,000 plus at my commission, at my price. That's exactly what I want. And I want it to happen in 8 months. Whatever that is, right? Just be direct about it. Either way, she's going to be helping us with affirmations and things like that. You want to speak a little bit more about that, Marlo?
Yeah. I asked, I said, hey, can you please help us? We honor to have you. I'm looking for 1 hour from you. And she said, no problem, I'm ready. Yeah, she's been helping me. She's been a good friend of mine. She's been helping me to fix my mind, to say the right things, to set the right intentions, because a lot of agents, you know, especially daily, I would love to at least get 2 listing appointments. I'm looking maybe to get in contact with 20 people. So say, hey, you have to have a direction. Where is your intention going to? So she's going to be the speaker for next week. She's a great person. She's a great investor, and she has a great life that she's going to be able to share with everybody. And you are going to see that everything in this life, if you have the seed that you're planting something good, everything is coming back to you. So it's gonna be a great class for next Wednesday. Get ready.